Hello and welcome to Norm's Real Estate Tips. This video begins a series for sellers. We just finished a series for buyers, either first-time buyers or regular buyers, in which we walk through the entire real estate process from beginning to end. We're going to do the same thing, this time from the perspective of the seller instead of the buyer. And I have the same piece of advice for sellers at the beginning as I do for buyers. Get a good realtor. There is no doubt in my mind and in the minds of people who track these things that you will make more money with a good realtor than you would trying to sell it by yourself. You will sell it faster, and certainly you will sell it with less hassle. So why do you need a realtor to sell? Well, the realtor helps you set the right price for the house. That's probably one of the most important functions they have on the front end to help you get it priced right so it will sell in a reasonable amount of time. They also plan and execute a marketing program to get it out there on the internet and the other places where people can see it. These days it's primarily the internet where people are looking, and they're looking using their smartphones, so you need it on an internet site that supports smartphones. They will handle all the details of getting the MLS listing done and all of the paperwork. They also interface with the title company. You will need, as a seller, to have title work done. So they'll take care of interfacing for that. They'll help you on looking at, analyzing, and responding to or negotiating on any offers that come in. And they'll help the appraiser, when you get to that stage, hopefully see the value that the house has that they put into the pricing. Now, let's start out by getting real. Your home is your castle, but it may not be a palace. So we need to figure out where your home is in relative to other homes of its similar size in the market. One of the things that your realtor will do for you, or you should ask him to do, is a market analysis. And in order to do that, he will be doing a walkthrough of your home normally, to kind of get a condition or a look at the condition of it, and then he'll be able to give you some advice on price. Almost as important, or maybe more importantly, he should be able to give you some advice before you get listed of the things that you might need to do to make the house more marketable. In real estate, there are what I call the 3 C's: condition, clutter, and cleanliness. They kind of fall in terms of how they impact the value of your house in the market right after the primary big two, which are location and price. Once you get location and price, or people that are looking in that location and that price band, then the thing that differentiates or can differentiate your house from others is its condition, its lack of clutter, and its cleanliness. So we'll talk about those as we go through. Clutter is the thing that I hit most often in homes when I visit them. Clutter can be, too much furniture in a room. You have so much furniture you can't even walk through it without, doing a little sidestep or something. You get used to that. There is, by the way, a kind of a human nature condition that the home deodorant people or home, spray people have labeled as nose dead. You've probably seen those commercials. Well, you become nose dead to the other issues in your house too. And certainly those are clutter, which can be too much furniture, it can be too many pictures, it can be too many knickknacks, but it's too much stuff all over the place. So clutter is a biggie. Then condition is another one that you can become nose dead to. Condition concerns all those little things that you just walk by every day. You know they're there, but you've learned to ignore them. You become nose dead to them. It's that, missing wall plate that you meant to get around to going to Lowe's and getting a new wall plate, but you never did. It's that paint that's a little nicked up and you thought, yeah, I'll get around to touching up that paint or repainting someday. It's all those little condition things. And in some cases, it's fairly large condition things that you need to be aware of, or, at least become more aware of, and maybe do some things about. So those two are biggies, condition and clutter. Generally, when you get those cleaned up or worked out, the cleanliness part comes a lot easier then. It's kind of hard to clean a house when it's all cluttered. and it may be hard to clean a house around some of the conditions that you've allowed to happen. But those three, condition, clutter, and cleanliness, are very important in the marketplace to differentiating your house and make it more marketable. Your choice on what you want to do to fix up some of that stuff. You can either hire it out or you can do it yourself. I definitely recommend you take a serious self-assessment about your capabilities, your skills, your tools, your background and ability to do projects in your house, do it yourself wise, before you embark on that as a solution to the issues. Certainly it's not that hard to paint, but if you've ever seen a bad paint job in a house, you know that maybe you're not the painter that needs to do the painting that needs to be done in your house. You could hire or rent one of those carpet cleaners from the local hardware store and try to clean your carpets yourself, but you're not a professional carpet cleaner, and those folks do so much better job than do it yourself. So, give yourself the benefit of the doubt on the small things and do them, but on the larger jobs or the jobs that really require better tools and more skills, hire those things out to get them done. There is a concept that I discussed with the buyers in the buyer series called functional obsolescence, and that will have an impact on the value of your home, and in some cases there's not much you can do about it. Tri-level homes, for instance, were big in favor in the 50s, 60s, and early 70s, and they fell out of favor. They became functionally obsolete. It's not that they don't do their job, they're nice houses, it's just that people preferred other floor plans and other styles. They got tired of going up and down all the stairs, and most of those tri-level houses didn't have much storage, which became a bigger issue for buyers as we turned into the 21st century. So functional obsolescence can occur. There's not much you can do about it. Some of it you can do something about. If you still have a pink bathroom or you still have Harvest Gold appliances, for instance, those are things you might look at replacing because they're now functionally obsolete and people or buyers just don't want to see that. Here are some other things that the marketplace and probably your realtor don't want to hear, but we hear it all the time when we're working with people getting ready to sell. One of them is, if it was good enough for me, it should be good enough for a buyer. Well, no, again, remember the nose dead concept. You've become nose dead to some of the things that have become good enough for you, but buyers in the market are looking for better than that, better than what's just good enough for you. And they'll be comparing your house against other houses that have been either better maintained or better updated or better upgraded. So that is not something that you want to have as a mindset. Another one is, well, my roof's lasted great for 20 years, it's probably good for another 10 or 15. Roofs are good for anywhere from 20 to 25 years or so. Even those that come in or are put on with 30-year shingles don't really last 30 years. So let somebody come in and tell you whether you need a new roof or not before the buyer ends up telling you that while he walks away from your house. In fact, that is probably a good idea, if you think about it, to let your realtor recommend a good home inspector and have your home inspected before you put it on the market. Now, you may not want to spend the $300 or so, or it may seem like it's something you shouldn't have to do, but that's the only way you're going to find out ahead of time what the issues and problems are that would turn off a seller later. And you don't want to do that if you can avoid it. If you know about some of these things ahead of time, you could make perhaps an offer of a seller's concession to deal with them, or you can deal with them yourself ahead of time. It really messes up a deal or prolongs it if you find during a home inspection after you've accepted an offer that your house has a radon problem or mold in the attic or things like that a good home inspector would find. Another thing I hear is, my furnace is pretty good, it's been working great for 25 years and I have it serviced every year. Yes, it may still work, but it's not a high efficiency modern furnace, and again, buyers will be looking at your house as it compares to other houses. So you can also, I hear every now and then, I heard that pink bathrooms are coming back as part of the retro movement. Well, you read about retro every now and then, but most of the buyers are not out there looking for a retro house. and most of those pink bathrooms aren't in very good shape now after the 25 or 30 years that they've been there. So look at that as something, again, that you might want to do something about. And those Harvest Gold appliances in your kitchen, I know they work okay, but people want, stainless steel these days. They don't want old Harvest Gold appliances that have been there for 20, 30 years. And they will bypass your house, or they will take one look and then write it off because you've got things that haven't ever been updated or upgraded. In fact, those things detract so much from the price or from the value of your house that you may get what you consider lowball offers, because buyers have to factor in what it's going to cost them later to improve all of the things that they think need improving. And sometimes you can do it less expensively than the list that they make out for themselves and try to take off of the price. The day that you decide to sell your current house is not the day to call a contractor, however, and start putting on that addition you always wanted to do, or doing a huge major kitchen upgrade. You can do some minor upgrades that will make it less onerous to buyers, but it's not the time to invest $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 in the house so you can put it on the market. You won't get that money back. You're better off just letting your realtor factor what needs to be done into the price and get on with life. If you decide to do things yourself, as I said earlier, make sure you have the skills to do that and the tools rather than hire. I would rather see you hire some of those jobs out than trying to do it yourself and mess the whole place up. And don't take overly long. If you have plans based upon feedback from your realtor and what you see in the market, that it's going to take you 4, 5, 6 months to get everything ready to sell, rethink that and think about the cost or the loss of time and money that you'll incur just waiting to get things fixed up that quite honestly you should have fixed years ago, but now's not the time to do it, maybe when you're getting ready to sell. So next time what we'll look at is how to price the house. Some of these things we've talked about today will certainly be factors in pricing the house, and there are a lot of other factors and strategies that you can go over with your realtor on how to arrive at a proper price so that you sell your house as quickly as possible and for the most that you can get out of it. I'm Norm Werner, and these are Norm's Real Estate Tips. Thanks for watching.